Lux your way with the Lux Cravings boxes from Taco Bell. There's the classic $5 box, the indulgent $7 box, and a whole new obsession in the $9 box, the Flamin' Hot Grilled Cheese Burrito. Try the Lux Cravings boxes at Taco Bell today.
As sports fans, we may cheer for different teams, but there's one thing that we can all agree on. We want the game to be big. And with 3 levels, 30 cabanas, a 143-foot screen, 6 clean pools, and endless cold drinks, it doesn't get any bigger or any better than Stadium Swim in Las Vegas. All sports, all seasons. It's more than a pool deck. Stadium Swim. It's the only thing like it in the world.
Check out the all-new Blue and Orange store at the Boise State Hall of Fame. The Blue and Orange store has your best game day gear. We're talking jerseys, hats, bumper stickers, car flags, more than 4,000 hats on the hat wall. If you want the best Boise State gear, make sure you check out the Blue and Orange store online at theblueandorangestore.com or the all-new Blue and Orange store down at the Boise State Allen Noble Hall of Fame.
Sunny days call for Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. Made with real iced tea and real vodka. Refreshing and goes down smooth. Let the good times cruise with Sun Cruiser.
How's your day going?
Going good. Thanks again.
When I want Boise State to win, I trust Coach Rice to lead the Broncos to victory.
And when I want the best painting and garage floor coating, I trust rowpaint.com to get that job done right.
You could win one of 2 trips to see Banana Ball live. Purchase 2 Body Armor products, use Let's Go Rewards, and you're entered to win. Right now, Body Armor is buy one, get one for $1 with Let's Go Rewards. Start getting those entries in. Let's go.
Around here, toughness isn't talked about. It's lived.
Matt Wagner with the one-handed catch down.
Early mornings, late nights.
Julian Bowen with 4.
Work that doesn't make the highlight reel.
Same mindset, different uniform.
This is the blue-collar grit, earned, not given.
Tough days don't stop us. They build us.
McMillan shoots and scores.
For the workers who don't back down, Ford doesn't either.
Shannon fires.
Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
Oh, Johnny Ball Game. We're live. Trying to get the kids out the door to school. We'll just skip the intro today and get right to it.
I was just taking a leak, so I'm good to go too, guys.
Oh, I don't hope that wasn't too long. I was giving my kids, pushing them out the door, which is a daily struggle, and I had the volume up pretty loud in the other room, and I said, I don't hear anything playing anymore. We might be on the air. Sure enough, we are. All right.
I thought the same thing. All right, fired up, ready to go. A little BNN live. Oh, BJ, those hockey games, man.
You stay up, man. Double overtime. The Golden
did.
Knights.
And it felt so good. Like once that goal went in from Vegas at the end, and I could just go to my remote, turn power off, and
short-handed goal, man. A shorty.
Out. It was. They almost had another shorty before that.
Our boy Derek Stevens right there in the front row behind the goal going crazy.
Was it? What was he really? You know who else was there? And he sent me a picture while he was there. Prater too.
Chef Wally?
No, one of the most powerful people in Boise, Dale Holste, was there.
Wow, that's night. Right. He did
Holste saw that.
He was going to a camp for equipment managers and stuff down there. That's right.
The Pac-12 equipment manager,
that's right.
Orientation, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And, he's probably off to a slow morning today. It's 7:50 in Vegas where he is. And if you're watching, Dale, I mean, he stayed the whole time too, right? I mean, there's no way Holste's leaving early, is he?
No, he's a big hockey guy.
Because the thing about hockey, if it goes to double overtime, you got to wait another, is it 10 or 20 minute intermission?
17.
That's so long, man.
Yeah, got to redo the ice. And that was the problem watching on TV sometimes. You get these games where you're like, please score. And then you got to make that decision. Okay, it's at least 17 minutes plus however long it's going to take for them to score. How about Greg Frank's Flyers while we're off topic? They win in overtime as well.
He'll have at least, it'll be either Philadelphia Flyers socks or a T-shirt or a hat or some type of zip up. That guy can represent his team after.
He had it on at the pool hall yesterday.
I bet he did. He shoots a mean stick, I hear, too. If anybody plays pool out there, go challenge Greg Frank. Apparently, he's the shark of the city right now.
The big one tonight, though, you got the Kentucky Derby this weekend, Johnny, right? So you got they're kicking it off tonight in Louisville, the Louisville Classic. Your St. Louis Battlehawks playing the Louisville Storm tonight.
What do you like?
Huh?
In the line.
3.5 for the Battlehawks. I like the dog. I like the road favorite there, the Battlehawks.
Okay.
3-2. They're calling it the Louisville Classic because they have the new Louisville team, and they did this on purpose on a Thursday night to kind of kick off Derby weekend there. And so, UFL football tonight.
Derby. I love the Derby weekend, man. That's going to be fun. When are you going to get to an AC Boise match, dude? I know Mr. Baseball. You guys are all baseball this time of year, and I get it. But, man, those are fun things, man. I have to decide if I'm going to go to that again. I've been to the first two, and it's a commitment on a Saturday night. I haven't decided if I'm going to go again, the Derby too. So we'll see. But hopefully you can get to one of those matches. They're a lot of fun.
And while we're off topic, your Mariners, swept my Cardinals twice by a score of 3-2, by the way. Could have very easily been different, but my Cardinals have gone on to win 3 in a row against the Pirates. So we rebounded pretty nicely, but got to face Paul Skeens today. So we'll see.
Take the under.
Oh, getaway day unders are the easiest bet in sports, man. When the teams are flying out of town, it's a day game, especially during the week, like a 12 noon Thursday game. Always take the unders. And when you got Paul Skeens pitching today, I don't know. They don't admit this. The players don't admit this, but they know they have a plane flight coming. They're going to their next city, dinner waiting for them in the next city, wherever they're going, or they're going back home. It's a day game. It's noon. You see a lot of first pitch swinging, a lot of quick at bats, and usually 2-1 games or something. And usually on the morning, the Thursday morning game, you're also getting a lot of bench players in the lineup. So they call it the getaway day lineup sometimes, where that's the day to give some of the big superstars the day off after the night game. And then, you look for a game or two where there's a star pitcher and it's 100% under. Cardinals, only problem is Cardinals are called up a rookie to pitch, so I could see him getting shelled like 10-0 or something. But
baseball players, like I know they're like, I've heard there's like a steakhouse in Seattle that will stay open later when, say, the Yankees were in town because Mark Teixeira needs to eat there, and they would do this. Baseball players have this massively late lifestyle, I've heard, on the road. Like, they don't have to be to the ballpark the next day until when? Like 4 or 5?
2 or 3 or 4 o'clock,
2, 3, or 4?
Yeah.
So if you get to bed at 4 a.m., you can easily get your 8 hours and be up and by the ballpark. It's
Oh, and if it's a town like a New York or a L.A. or a place where there's some nightlife, it's...
You've heard those stories.
Oh, yeah. And you're right, though. It's which is why it's hilarious. It's the opposite of spring training. Spring training, it's a day game every day. They got to get up early. Then you switch it to the and they don't work till 3 o'clock, so they can do whatever they want and sleep in till noon or 1 o'clock and go to get some coffee and go to the ballpark. And that's why these day game after night game. I'm telling you, man. See how many day games there are today. And you see what the over, and they'll probably all go over today, but more times than not, it feels like a winnable bet there when you go the unders on getaway day.
Oh man, this show today, BJ.
Well, we started early, so no one's watching it anyway, so it doesn't.
Good point.
Yeah, that's why Perry said you could have just skipped all this and started at 9. Perry, this is the show before the show. We just decided we would check on early today, but we did get Johnny on a little early today because
airport. BJ,
what's that?
Is that Perry from the airport?
I don't
remember
believe
that
so.
bartender at the airport named Perry.
No,
okay.
No.
Sorry,
you wouldn't know anything about that.
The Perry at the airport? I know him. What do you mean?
That's right. He was our guy. Then he worked at the James. Then we met him at the. He went and worked at the.
Yes, he did.
That was like reminiscing old friends when Johnny and Perry realized they knew each other from the Boise airport. Lebanon, Oregon, Perry. So we appreciate Perry from watching from Lebanon.
Man.
But yeah, we are kind of off the rails, having fun on a Thursday. There's not a whole lot going on in the sports world, to be completely honest with you. But did want to get Johnny on a little bit early today because we do have Jeremiah Dicki coming on at 9:15, Johnny, 9:15. We are going to get to
good. I can get off a little early today.
Huh?
Perfect. I can get out of here a little earlier today.
20 minutes, 9:15. Jeremiah Dicki will come on. We wanted to still get Johnny on since I know I have to pay him. I said we'll start a little early then and get him on. And what'd you make of the 2 and 11 hash marks yesterday, Johnny?
I thought it was sweet, man. Or let me just say, in honor of Deuce, I thought it was dope. I think it's going to be fun. That's going to last forever, and it's another story to tell. You know, part of the reason we love sports or the storytelling that comes with it. That's why I'm in this business, and that's that. I mean, think of all the stories now. More so will be told in that stadium, and the legacy of Ashton and Kellen, who played in that stadium, will continue to last for the generations. The generation that saw Kellen, the generation that saw Ashton, all the generations that saw both of them. I mean, they're going to pass those stories on to multiple generations in this program, and I hope it sticks out like a sore thumb. And I think it will because of the blue turf or the orange on the blue. I want it to stick out. Like, I want to see it all the time. I want Bob Beeler to be like, oh, and he's rumbling, bumbling, stumbling, pushed out of bounds at the Genty. It'll be first and goal from the 2. You know, something like that. You know, like I want it to be a part of the whole thing, and I want it to be there, and I think it's dope. I love it. Now, does this mean they are done with honoring Genty, Kellen? Does this mean that no one else ever gets honored in that stadium? It's still not a name. I've heard where they like to get the signature right below it, or their signature inside the orange with like a blue pen. You get the Ashton autograph, you get the Kellen autograph. Like, so it is a name there. I don't think you need that. I think it says it what it needs to say in it of itself there. You know what it is. You don't need an autograph too. But at some point, it'd be nice to have some names, some other moments. I was thinking, you know, the Field Suites, maybe name them. You have the Troutman's Suite. You have the Winston Venable Extra Power Punch Suite. Like, just kidding. Love you, Winston. But, you know, you name some of those and little things here or there. They still need to do that. And obviously, I don't want to disrespect, and they're not, the thousands of other players who were really, 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 really big deals there too. And you can't just, well, were you going to get from the 27-yard line? BJ, we have to. Like, at some point, you have to have another avenue, another vehicle to say thank you to all these wonderful players that are still celebrated every day in this town, other than just Ash and Kellen. But those 2 yard markers, I love it, BJ. I think it's sweet.
I still think they need a ring of honor of some sort.
Agree.
Some other kind of way to honor these guys. And you can do the ring of honor without having to retire the jerseys. Whether you put it on the press box, the Stickle Sky Center, whether you create some sort of way to, you know, put it along the top of the seating there on the east side or behind the under the scoreboard somehow. I mean, there's, and I don't know. I mean, what would you think right now off the top of your head, Johnny, if you were just starting a ring of honor for football? What would you have? I mean, how many initial names would go up there?
Think about that. You have the initial ring of honor. What I would do is I would
16, 12, 16, 20. I don't know.
And would you say it's the top 20, or would you say, hey, we're going to go 5 from each from 4 different eras? That's how we're going to do it. And I think that's fair too. And then you have the inaugural Ring of Honor class. And these are the can't misses. You know, it's the Chris Petersons, the Lyle Smiths, the Gene Blameyers, and then you go to the players and just the shoo-ins. Okay.
That needs to happen at some point. I know they're working on that. I mean, the Hall of Fame needs to be redone, Johnny, the Hall of Fame Plaza. I mean, you have so much history and you could do so much more, I think, with the Hall of Fame itself, man. That thing needs to be interactive. You go have a different display for each Fiesta Bowl where the game is playing on the screen and you see some artifacts and memorabilia from that game on that Fiesta Bowl and that Fiesta Bowl. And I know they have so many things on their list, Johnny, of improvements they want to make and things they want to do. But for me, to show off the history, to show off that blue, I think you could do so much more with the Hall of Fame and that whole thing and the Ring of Honor and that's one area that would be on my list in terms of, I get it, East Side, all that stuff's next. But if you could, and maybe it's part of what's end zone is that? South end zone? That's on their list at some point, Johnny, to redo the South end zone and maybe redo the varsity center as part of that and give new offices to the staff and the coaches and all that. But if that of the other sports, the volleyball, soccer, I mean, our man Justin Schultz has like a closet for an office. I mean, if they could do something down there at that end and also add some new seating things and maybe that hooks around and includes a new Hall of Fame or upgrades to the Hall of Fame, that would be down my list, but it is on the list in terms of redoing the Hall of Fame, getting some sort of Ring of Honor out there as well. But this is a nice touch.
Yeah,
had to get approval by the NCAA to do this, change the color of the hash mark. And they believe, Chris Coots told me, they believe they're the first school in the country to have permanent hash marks that are different colors for something like this.
Yeah.
So pretty cool deal. And then they add the state of Idaho there at the 35-yard line. So I just think it's crazy, Johnny. They're going to have this monster truck show this summer. Then they're going to replace the entire field, $1 million plus, like almost $1.5 million field. They're going to go to all this trouble to put it in. And literally like 2 or 3 days after it's put in, they're going to paint the whole field like a baseball field for banana ball.
Yeah, that's weird. But hey, apparently it's not going to do any harm. It's fine. It's part of the deal. But you would think maybe you could do it. I don't know. I mean, I'm not in on those things, nor should I be. But that is kind of weird. You're right. Oh, it looks beautiful. All right, where's the paint guy? Come on in. Let's paint this thing up. I know a paint guy, by the way. So do you, BJ. But yeah. You have that whole thing. We'll see. Hey, how about this though? Like the new Hall of Fame, it's an interactive experience with the new AI technology where you can walk into whatever the room is and you become a part of the Fiesta Bowl experience through AI. I'm saying like you assume the role of my man Dryzen James, where you have to run the route on the hook and ladder, you have to catch the pass in AI, and you have to lateral the ball, pitch it back to Rab, and then you see the whole experience. You live that experience. I'm seeing stuff like that now. You could make like a Boise State Disneyland.
Yeah, like the College Football Hall of Fame down there, and they have all kinds of interactive stuff. I always had an idea, Johnny, for a bar when I was in college at KU or like when I left. I thought you could make some sort of sports bar. You call it, The Shot or something, and it's based after Mario Chalmers, shot hitting the three-pointer. And my whole thought process was you have a basketball court inside maybe just the three-point line and in, but a basketball court where famous shots in KU history. You go over, you press the button, the audio comes on of the Bob Beeler counting down the call, and you go and you reenact the shot, and you can do that in the restaurant. And then at night, the court turns into like a dance club, and it becomes, a popular nightclub spot. I always had a dream of that. Maybe they could pull something like that. Maybe Travis Hawks or somebody could pull that off on Broadway at some point. I don't know.
Yeah, my whole idea for the Kellen Moore, the 50-3 club.
Yes.
The nicest steakhouse in Boise, whatever it is. I mean, that's where you go. You go to the 50-3 club, and you get if you spend I don't know, if your tab's over $1,000, you get an autographed Kellen Moore football with it. So that's where you're going to go for graduations and all this stuff. You're going to the 50-3 club, sports jackets only, BJ. And I own one. I mean, it's really nice. The 50-3 club.
We
man.
know you own it because we have the tag is still on it. But
and Ashton too. Like I love playing that game. Like what would be the best opportunity for Ashton? To have a restaurant or whatever it is, maybe a workout facility. Like if Ashton Genty had like a training center, I mean, you don't think kids in Boise would go or something like that? Comments would be nice there too. But yeah, the bar and grill is always something that sports geeks like you and me dream about. The perfect sports bar.
Yeah. Mine would have childcare too. You drop your kids off at the gym, when you go work out, go drop your kids off and watch the game with your buddies and not have to worry about your kid running around or being on iPad or wanting more money to go play video games. Think about if a Big Al's or something had an area where you could drop your kids off for an hour while you had lunch with your friends or whatever and watched NFL Sunday or whatever. I mean, have some childcare there.
Good idea.
We could do this, Johnny. I think we could do this. But Johnny, spring ball's in the books. And if you joined us and you're like, what are they talking about? Or why have they already been on for 20 minutes? We do have Jeremiah Dicki, the Boise State athletic director, coming on here in about 10 minutes. So we started a little early and just so we could make sure we got to hear from Johnny. And then we'll get Jeremiah Dicki on at 9:15. Where are you, Johnny, on the tournament expanding, 76 teams?
I don't love it. I don't like the fact that I think it's going to be, now it's going to be 76. 24 of those teams are playing on Tuesday or Wednesday. It's a third of the field, right? That's the math, right? 24 teams will play because there's going to be 12 games now in the play-in round, correct?
Yes.
I think that's it. Yeah.
Yes.
So that just seems like that's a ton of teams going to the play-in round. It's going to be a really quick turnaround. We're going to have selection Sunday, all this, and then all of a sudden, there's 12 games coming right there. But dude, 6 more games to watch on Tuesday, 6 on Wednesday, and then you get real excited for the main course on that opening Thursday. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to love it, and I get how the math works too. Back in 1985 when they started the 64-team tournament, there was like 250 D1 teams. Now there's 365. D1 has grown exponentially, but the tournament hasn't. So this is the tournament saying, "Hell, we're just playing catch up, man." But I mean, it feels like the catch up part might just be a thing to sell to everybody else when it really means we're going to let a few more big timers get in this thing. I don't know how they're going to divvy it up. Do you think they'll go, okay, with the 8 new teams all at large? Are they going to say it's 4 power, 4 mid-major? Or are they just going to say the 8
even if it's 2 mid-major and 6 power, it's still 2 more mid-majors that get in that didn't get in before. So I don't think they're going to have a set number. I think they're just going to look at all the resumes. And yes, over time, it probably will be more of the power teams. But you know what? Like, at least going into the season, there's 8 extra spots for a team like a Boise State or somebody from the Pac-12, whoever. Everyone's complaining about it. I've been kind of surprised at the outrage by like the national media and everybody making such a big deal about it. But everybody will watch. And I think Boise would be an awesome town, by the way, to host the Western part of it. I don't think it'll happen, but I think Boise would have been a perfect spot. I'm guessing it goes to Vegas probably, unless they want, a college town. San Diego could work. I mean, there's a lot of different options.
Too far away. They want to have it centralized, so it's not that far a flight.
No, they got Dayton. They'll want to get in what they want. They said they have to have one out in the Western time zone somewhere. So maybe Boise, maybe Vegas is easy. They'll probably do a better job of trying to have teams playing out west funnel into the Western cities in the next round. I don't know, but everyone's complaining about it, but everybody will be watching on that Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yeah. It does feel like too, if you're a Boise State, and fine, whatever, but it does feel like if you win your league, can you avoid the 24-team play-in thing?
Opening round now is what they're calling it.
Yeah, I mean, just because, I would think, if I'm a fan of a mid-major team, this is going to be my entrance to the tournament from here on out. I'm not going to be in the 64-team field. I'm going to have to win that first game first, and maybe that's okay. Sure, it's another game. Oh, no, more basketball. Nah! I mean, so, yeah, I get it. Sure. We'll see what, but it's just, you love it.
I don't. I mean, I'm more. I don't know if I love it's the right word, but I'm more positive on it than negative. I don't see a lot of negatives. More teams get in, more games, more excitement. And no offense to the 16 seeds, Johnny, but I have no problem with all the 16 seeds having to play each other. And honestly, they get a chance to get a win now and get a memory and move on in the tournament and get that money. I have no problem. Everyone says, "Oh, you're killing the Cinderella and all this." No. The Cinderellas were the 16, or not the 16s and the 15s. So
yeah, and I think Cinderella, Cinderella's been gone the last 3 years of this tournament. That's just been a byproduct. So yeah, you actually might even have more Cinderella moments this way because sometimes you get that hot team, you get that win under your belt. You know this with basketball, BJ, and then you're playing your second game when the team you're playing is playing their first game. They're a little nervous. You're not. You're feeling the flow. You're coming off the biggest win in program history. You're doing, hey, you got nothing to lose. Sometimes maybe it will lead to potentially more day one, or I don't know what I'm supposed to call it now, Thursday or Friday upsets, because some of those teams will come in with a hot hand. So we'll see, because that's the only time you're getting upsets anymore. It's just going to be Thursday or Friday, and that's fine, but you will still get some of those. Yep. So,
Johnny, you did a great job hosting with Prater on the post-game show, the Jackson's post-game show after the spring game. Appreciate you and Prater for doing that. You got a lot of your takes, and I actually played a 10-minute segment or so on the show on Monday of you guys talking about your concerns for the spring. But just overall kind of wrapping up spring ball before we get JD on here, what were kind of your takeaways, thoughts from spring ball heading into the summer?
Let's see. I would hope they're going to be better tacklers coming into the summer. And Spencer even said, hey, we're going to do this when we start fall camp too. Okay. They're not going to do it to that level, I'm sure, but it will be the most physical fall camp I think we've ever seen from the sidelines, BJ. So that's a takeaway there. And, you know, I think that what they don't have in size, hopefully they have in speed. I'm excited to see some new players. Bone Phelps just, you know, kind of just instituted into the middle linebacker spot. But, you know, Roman Tillman is going to be the nickel, BJ. We saw him out there with the ones constantly. That's the South Dakota kid who was flying around in the mid-Missouri Valley last year at South Dakota. I'm sorry. And then we know Travis Anderson is going to play a big role on this team this year. He's a special teams guy last year. He's, you know, got the task of, you know, replacing Buck in Zion back there at safety, new corners. So that's kind of a takeaway, I guess. Just overall, I think they're going to be, I hope they're going to be faster on defense this year. I don't think they're going to be bigger, but we will see. I think spring ball all in all went well. Rashawn Jones had the breakout party saying, okay, yeah, you need me right now. Developmental program, great, yes. But you're going to want to develop me while I'm still possibly being your best receiver here. The young quarterbacks, you needed them to get, I think it would be a success for where they are. I mean, if you were expecting after spring ball to say, hey, we might have a QB competition in the fall, I mean, you were probably misguided, but I think the Cash and Jackson will be ready for fall camp, and I would hope to see them take that next step up and see what that is. But Maddox Madsen, Max Cutforth, clearly you're 1-2. They were the best quarterbacks out there, I think. Cash had moments, but he also had moments where he's fumbling a snap, BJ. Like, for people that are like, oh, just play him. Just go through it. Dude, you don't want that. Stop.
And you heard Zach Hill talking about, yeah, he throws a beautiful ball, he looks the part, whatever, but there's a lot more to it in terms of the mental side, the playbook, knowing the game. Like, yeah, we can watch him throw a couple passes and warm-ups and go, oh, man, this guy's got to be the starter. How is he not the starter? But there's a lot to this Boise State offense for an incoming freshman.
Yes, and the fumbles and the sacks and the picks, and it would be throwing gasoline on a fire. You never want to do that to that kid. You know, you would not want to do it, especially when you certainly have a capable player playing quarterback. Yeah, hopefully Cash at one point is better than Madsen at his best day. Let's hope. But it's not going to be this year. It's not. Don't force it. And then, I mean, yeah.
What's your opening line in Autzen?
What do you mean?
What's the opening spread? I'm sure it'll be coming out here pretty soon.
20.5? Just under 3 teeters? Does that sound good?
I believe it's 17 when they had Genty.
17 or 18, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was like 17, maybe. Maybe I'm wrong when they had Ashton
Genty. They didn't know who Genty was. He was coming off Georgia Southern, right? Genty wasn't if they would have played that game later, I don't know if the line would have been 17. But you're right, it was massively high. What do you think it'll be? I'm going to say it's under 3 touchdowns, just under.
Probably about right. Boise State will get a little bit of respect.
Oregon will be ranked 3rd or 4th. Dante Moore is back. Plus, you know, their whatever $40 million payroll or whatever. Like, You'll see when you go on the sidelines of that game and you'll see how big Oregon is. You'll be like, oh, dang, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Like they're at a different level right now. But we'll see.
Well, appreciate you, Johnny, for jumping on early, getting there early on a Thursday. Jeremiah Dicki going to join us shortly. Anything you want to tease for Idaho Sports Talk today?
Let's see. IST on a Thursday.
You haven't had your meeting yet. I'm putting you on the spot here.
Yeah, you're putting me on the spot. I don't know. Boise
It'll be 3 hours of award-winning sports talk, 3 to 6, Idaho Sports Talk today. Make sure you check them out, Johnny Prater, Bob, Greg, the whole gang, and then I'll join you guys tomorrow at 4:15. Johnny, appreciate you. We're going to get Jeremiah Dicki on here, and always a pleasure, man.
Thanks, guys.
There he is, Jeremiah Dicki coming up. We appreciate John Mallory. Hey, want to thank Lithia Ford of Boise, our title sponsor. Lithia Ford of Boise, Jim Sturk and company doing a ton for Boise State, a ton for BNN. If you're looking for a new or pre-owned vehicle, Jim Sturk, Lithia Ford of Boise, online, lithiafordboise.com. Check them out, Lithia Ford of Boise, lithiafordboise.com. Hey, if you are looking for a nice beverage while you're golfing this weekend, having a barbecue, Sun Cruiser, I highly recommend Sun Cruiser Classic Iced Tea. They have the half and half. They have the lemonade vodka flavors. Sun Cruiser, real iced tea, real vodka, low calorie, low carb. Sun Cruiser. Check out Sun Cruiser at your local gas station or grocery store. Idaho Central Credit Union. Get your questions in for Jeremiah Dicki, Boise State Athletic Director. Now is your time to ask a question to the Athletic Director at Boise State. Get those in the chat now, and we'll get to those here momentarily. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. They're the best in the business, folks. A branch pretty much on every corner. Mobile, e-branch, online banking. So happy the Raines family made the switch to ICCU. All of our BNN accounts are with ICCU. And you don't realize what you're missing, especially with some of the online banking stuff, till you make the switch. ICCU, make the switch today, folks. They're doing a lot for the community as well. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. Hey, Jackson's weather's warming up. Roaring Springs is going to be opening up here, and you can save up to $32 at Roaring Springs when you buy 2 Coca-Cola products at Jackson's. That's right. They've got some new rides and things opening up this year at Roaring Springs, and you can save up to $32 when you buy 2 Coca-Cola products. That is from our friends at Jackson's. And again, Jackson's, use that Let's Go Rewards app and save today. Want to thank Taco Bell as well. TacoBellWorks.com, the SON Management Group, the Nicolason family. TacoBellWorks.com, Treasure Valley Taco Bell locations, whether it's the new Crunchy Chicken, Cantina Tacos, all the various quesadillas. They're adding to the menu daily, folks. So many great options at Taco Bell. And I know you have a lot of options when you think fast food, but if you want a delicious, affordable, quick meal, Taco Bell's where you need to go. Hit up a Treasure Valley Taco Bell location today. And we're talking 40-year anniversary, 40-year history of the Blue Turf, 1986, 2026. And so the Blue and Orange Store online, theblueandorange.com. You can buy this new customized jersey, jacket. They've got some other mementos and things they're selling for the 40th anniversary of the Blue Turf. But the Blue and Orange Store, all your Blue Turf gear, 40th anniversary, all your Boise State gear, the Blue and Orange Store. Again, online, anywhere in the world, you can order at theblueandorangestore.com. They have that location down there at the Boise State Hall of Fame, or the OG location there at the Boise Town Square Mall. Again, the Blue and Orange Store online at theblueandorangestore.com. Still waiting for Jeremiah Dicki to dial in. Get those questions in for Jeremiah Dicki, Boise State Athletic Director. We'll get to those momentarily, so we'll go ahead and thank a few more sponsors while we wait for Jeremiah to pop on. Bauscher Real Estate, #1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley is Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate. Whether you're buying or selling a home, Matt and his team right there on the screen are ready to help you every step of the way. 252-9877. 252-9877. Bauscher Real Estate. Again, online, BauscherRealEstate.com. We bought and sold our home using Matt and his team. Tremendous customer service every step of the way. Bauscher Real Estate, online, BauscherRealEstate.com. Hey, Signature Roofing, online at My Signature Roofing. Signature Roofing, covering our community for more than 2 decades. Signature Roofing, online at MySignatureRoofing.com. Re-roof, repair to your roof, an inspection, estimate, all your roofing needs. Check out Signature Roofing, mysignatureroofing.com. Hey, we'll keep rolling here while we wait for Jeremiah Dicki to pop on. Element Fencing, elementfencing.com. Decks, cedars, wrought iron, vinyl, they can do it all, folks. Pergolas, I mean, look at the craftsmanship on the fencing there on the screen. If you are looking for a new fence, Element Fencing online, elementfencing.com. Decks, pergolas, fences. Again, 631-2790. I think Jeremiah Dicki's dialing up his Wi-Fi right now. Going to be joining us momentarily. I think he's on the road this morning. We'll see. ShopRidleys.com, Ridley's Family Markets. ShopRidleys.com. If you're looking to go to a grocery store, support local, support Ridley's Family Markets. ShopRidleys.com. Love that Kuna location. And ShopRidleys.com. Rowpaint.com as well. Whether it's interior painting, concrete coatings, you name it, they can do it all. Industrial, commercial, residential, row painting, rowpaint.com. Check them out. We appreciate Andy Rowe and company. Row painting, rowpaint.com. All right, we are dialing up Jeremiah Dicki. He should be joining shortly. Again, if you have a question for the Boise State Athletic Director, Jeremiah Dicki, we will get to that here momentarily, assuming his Wi-Fi is working. But get those questions in. Let's populate the chat with questions for Jeremiah Dicki. If you've ever had a question, for the athletic director at Boise State, he makes himself available to take your questions, answer your questions, and we appreciate when he's willing to do that, and he's willing to do that right now here on Bronco Nation News. So we bring in the athletic director at Boise State, Jeremiah Dicki. I was gonna make a bad joke, but I won't because you don't look like you're in your office right now. But how we doing, sir?
I'm doing well, BJ. Good morning, and I appreciate you guys having me on. Hopefully, my service is okay. I'm traveling today, and so I'm doing this from a hotel room. But happy to join, and good morning, Bronco Nation.
They are all excited in the chat, hoping you're in a good Pac-12 meeting spot there for the at the hotel room there, of course, or something.
Yes, for sure.
Let's see here. Let me go back to the beginning of the comments. But we saw the announcement yesterday on the blue turf. What excited you about that? I know some of the cool things with Ashton and Kellen, and then the state of Idaho. I mean, just some cool little things you guys added to it. By and large, blue turf's the blue turf. You didn't really change much of the overall design, but you were able to add some small kind of new things to it. That's going to be pretty cool.
For sure. 5 years ago, BJ, I promised Bronco Nation, we're never going to stop, right? And so we're always looking at new and different ways to be innovative and drive interest, tell our story, so on and so forth. And my goal is to make sure that our fans see something different every year. And because we were changing out the blue turf, this made a lot of sense. It goes back to an idea. We saw this was probably a decade ago, and it just always stuck with us. And I can't say enough about Coots and our team. I mean, BJ, when I talk about being the front porch of Idaho, those posts yesterday, we got millions of views off of us changing our turf. Right? Like, it's insane. And that just makes me really proud to represent the brand. And I'm really obviously grateful for Ash and Kellen. I mean, you can't ask for better guys. The way they connect, and they obviously are busy and on to their next chapters of life. But once a Bronco, always a Bronco. And I know they were super excited and very grateful and honored to celebrate them because they've earned it.
I know I've asked you this before, but I think the next step is some sort of Ring of Honor or something else, whether we talked about more statues in the front or something inside the stadium, whether it's a Ring of Honor. Maybe this is eventually part of a South End Zone redo in terms of the Hall of Fame. I know I think the Hall of Fame obviously needs to be upgraded, but I know you have so many projects on your list, and maybe this is a nice way to start to honor some of these guys. But people are already asking about what are you going to do for Coach Pete and some of this stuff. I mean, what is there any long-term vision or goal or dream of some sort of way of honoring some more of the former players?
1000%. Like what was announced yesterday, that we've been working on that for over a year. And I can assure you, as it pertains to Coach Pete, Kellen, and all of our Broncos, there's more to come. We're very strategic in our process and storytelling. We knew about this, what we were doing with the turf and finalized designs earlier this spring. We just wanted to hold it, and it was very specific to our strategy to tell our story. So yes, there are things always in works. We will not stop. Like I know, hopefully people believe us now. We are always going to continue to move the bar, and that's who we are.
I'm not sure if you can see the questions or if you want to take any or skip over any or what. Maybe you can't if you're on your phone. I'm not sure. I can kind of.
No, I'm on my computer, but
right,
I can
read. I can read some of these for you. Somebody did want to know about the date. The date of that is what late. I know you have that monster truck show in June, and then I believe it's supposed to be done by like July 17th or something. What is the time? I know Nathan told us on the tour, but the timing of when all this is going to happen with the turf.
Yeah, I would honestly, you may know more than I do, BJ. I just know we're getting new turf, and we got a lot of events going through this summer, from camps to monster trucks to Savannah Bananas. Nate,
you get a brand new $1.5 million turf, and then like 3 days later, you're painting it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's part of it, BJ. If we can make $1, everyone's honest about rev share and other things. I mean, you see it tied into Collect You. Like, we are going to monetize everything appropriately so to the best of our ability. And that's something that's important to us. And with what we're doing in the sports and entertainment space, which more information will come out about that here soon. We are doing something very different from every other school, and we're going to continue to drive those revenue generating spaces to serve our department and staff and student athletes.
What do you make of the tournament going to 76 teams? Where were you on that?
Honestly, it bothers me. I don't know if that was something that needed to be fixed. If it gave us more access, I would be okay with that. But at the end of the day, everything I'm reading, it's just to give the Power 2 or the Power 4 more access. And so I don't know. I do see it as an opportunity, though. There's always opportunities. I'm not going to cry over spilt milk, and I only have so much control over some of these outcomes. I want to host games. You and I had talked about that before. When I first got here, we weren't allowed to bid on it and all this stuff, and that was coming more from campus. And now, like with what we're doing with the arena and Albertson Stadium, I want to drive as many events as possible, and maybe that gives us an opportunity to bring the NCAA tournament back to Boise. I know Boise has fond memories of that, and that's that would be awesome.
The 5-and-5 rule. Where are you on 5 years to play the 5 years?
I'm all in. We got to do something, and I also understand that there's most likely going to be, at this point, every time we try to make a rule, and I give the NCAA some credit, like everyone's on them. They try to do something, and you're never going to make everyone happy. But I appreciate that they're trying to define the expectations and hold people accountable to them. And they know there's going to be litigation, because that's just the reality of the hand we're holding right now. It's really sad, BJ, because I don't think any of us are doing it, or at least I'll speak for myself. Nothing that I propose is for personal gain or about me. It's about an industry that I care about and the impact that we're having on these student athletes. And we got to define the expectations and rules, because my why is still to serve them and prepare them for life. And I think a lot of that is getting lost. I get the competitiveness. I'm extremely competitive. I want to compete for championships. That's what you are, or that's what you do when you're a Bronco. But at some point, we got to draw lines in the sand, because what we're doing is a disservice to these kids. And so I'm grateful, and we'll see where it goes.
Jeremiah Dicki, our guest here on Bronco Nation News, his monthly chat, answering your questions, talking about prominent things in Boise State college athletics. You made a comment recently, I forget where I saw it, but maybe on Johnny and Prater's show, about you were previously not allowed to go to the Capitol. Someone asked a question here. You're spending a lot of time at the Capitol lately. How close do you think to getting more state funding puts us on par with other schools in our conference? What has been the reasons for so many trips down there, and I don't know how specific or whatever you can get, but in terms of not being allowed previously to go down to the Capitol, I think we can all kind of put 2 and 2 together there, but not sure what you're willing to expand on.
Yeah, I think it goes back to a lot of what I've said publicly, BJ. It isn't athletics and academics. It is Boise State University. And who we are as Broncos, and especially from an athletic department standpoint, as the front porch, represents everything. So I think everyone's going to have a different, strategy or mentality in terms of athletics and academics, and that's higher ed, and that's okay. But, I look at it as one. This institution doesn't exist without that blue turf and what the Broncos before us did, and the foundation that we're building off of. And I'm so grateful because it's impacted the academic mission. And you look at us like we're right there for R1. I'm not sure any Bronco 20 years ago would have said, yeah, this is in our future. That's a testament to Nancy Glenn and a lot of people on campus, but you got to keep them connected. And so in the past, it was almost strictly about academics, and athletics didn't have a seat at that table. And I'm not here that is what it is. I was obviously trying to do my best and work behind the scenes, but I am so grateful for Nicole Fitzgerald, who's a former Bronco, ran track for us, and Jeremiah Shin, which congrats to him on Montana, and that's awesome for him. He's amazing. I'm so grateful for him because for the first time, university and athletics went down there, locked arms, and we got to meet with everybody. And it wasn't, this because it was really the first time and we were proposing certain things. The reality is we don't have enough, and so we have to find more. And how do we continue to find solutions and view them as partners versus adversaries? Like they have been awesome, BJ. I can't say enough. Honestly, they take my calls, they take the meetings, they want to serve, they want to help. So did we make progress? 1000%. I feel so much better today than I did 6 months ago. And that was due to the hard work of our team and teammates, and Spencer, it was going down there with me, and Beck went down there. Caitlin went down there. Some of it had to do with, the International Student Athlete Bill. Some of it had to do with the Joint Memorial. Some of it has to do with just what's going on in our industry. It is different, and we are moving extremely quickly. And when you're a part of within higher ed and you're seeing it across the country, it is really challenging to move that quickly. And you need to bring people along in the process because I'm at I serve at the discretion of the president and this great state. And so I very much view them as one of many bosses that I have. And I want to lead into them, bring them along in a process, tell our story, hope to get them to a point that they understand the impact that we have, whether it's economy and the downtown space or just what the blue represents. And that's something that, I think is part of my duties and responsibilities. And I'm going to continue to do that and be vocal about it because it matters. And it doesn't mean it matters more or less than academics and everything else. We are one, and it takes a team. And I've said it from the very beginning, and this ties into the strategy and everything I say. It takes a team. We have to get everyone in the foxhole pulling in the right direction, and we can go to war with that. And so I do feel very comfortable as I sit here today.
One Bronco 130 says, how close are we to a decision on a new university president?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I would guess soon, obviously now, Marlene's been gone for over a year. Shin obviously just got this Montana job. There are a lot of moving pieces to that. The committee's working hard, and I would hope, going into this next cycle, our budgets and whatnot turn over July 1st, and so I would expect something this summer, but it's hard to say at this point. There are a lot of moving pieces of that. Hiring a president is probably very different than hiring a football coach and transfer portals and everything you have to navigate, and so. Obviously for ADs, we got to move a little bit quicker, but all in all, I think they've done their, they've partnered with the search firm and they're off and running. And now that state statute, that was a part of it too, downtown. Now that state statute has been changed. I would expect something sometime this summer, but obviously that could change. I was hopeful that we would have someone here prior, to the end of this cycle because of some of the budget challenges and the things that we continue to fight and push for. But I'm really grateful for all the interims that have stepped into their role, and I can't say enough. It takes a team, and I'm grateful.
Now, everybody in the chat is having fun speculating what city you're actually in right now for your on this hotel room visit here, and I'm sure you know why people are.
It's no secret. Yeah. Honestly, when I fly out of sea, I don't get to send my picture, and I'm usually running late, which is I feel I was born late. And so I was getting down to C3 actually. So I did not send my picture out usually that I usually do. I am in Phoenix.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can confirm you're not in Lexington, Kentucky right now.
Yeah, I'm in short sleeves, a hat. I'm about to go outside. I forgot my sunglasses though, so I'm a little disappointed by that. But no, I'm in Arizona. We had some meetings down here, and they do this. Fiesta Bowl does it every year. Very grateful for them, obviously, with our history with them. Absolutely love those guys, and they always take care of us. And so Spencer had meetings earlier this week for football with football coaches, and then a lot of the coaches stayed, and then the ADs arrive, and so we have various meetings today and tomorrow, and I'll be back home tomorrow.
We saw the CW getting streamed by ESPN now on their app. That's going to be cool to get some football and basketball games on there. I know you guys just had some recent Pac-12 meetings right over in Corvallis, I believe, at some point recently. What's, I guess, and to steal your phrase, what's next? Like, what are you guys still having to kind of go? I mean, July 1st is pretty close to happening here, 2 months away. Is everything ready to go, or what? Do you have decisions that just haven't been announced in terms of like basketball conference tournament, all that kind of stuff, media days, or is some of that still having to be decided, or what's kind of still left on the to-do list for that?
Some of it is in work in progress and maybe needs additional conversation. Some of it is just waiting for the right time. I mean, we're very specific in the storytelling, and I do appreciate that with the pack, and can't say enough about Josh and T and Rick now and that team. But yeah, like the meetings in Corvallis were very productive. We're kind of moving beyond the operational piece and into the strategy. We all see the hand we're holding, and you can read the tea leaves in terms of what's going on, whether it's expansion of the tournament or what they're trying to do with CFP or everything that's being proposed federally, and SCORE Act and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of great conversations, to me, like I think that's probably my favorite piece, getting everyone in a room and let's talk through it, figure out how we can best position ourselves and what's plan A through Z. And that's how I run the department, and I feel that's how we're running the Pac-12 right now. I thought the logo, like we had known that was coming for a while, that was awesome. There's always announcements, EJ, as you know, like we'll have our football schedule at some point over the next few weeks, right? We know who we're playing, but when, and obviously ties into the pack, and we have that flex schedule thing, which got a lot of positive response from Bronco Nation and others. I really like the fact that we're going to lock in on Saturday, making it up, Saturday at 7 for San Diego State. So that way, and doing it prior to the start of the season, well prior to the start of the season, that people can plan around it. I have kids and youth sports and all those things. And so even if a game's on a Friday night, like that's awesome because people can plan. And so I'm really excited about that. There's some things that still have not been announced yet, but will be in terms of football media days, basketball media days. Obviously we got the launch of the Pac-12, July 1st that we're officially in. That's awesome. So yes, we are making progress. We've gone through a lot of the ins and outs of hosting championships and our Olympic sport programs and all the sports we serve. But there's still a lot of work ahead of us. Like the way we're all approaching it is we're never finished. You cannot stay stagnant. As soon as you settle, you will die a slow death and you'll go backwards. We can't do that. And the ADs are locked in. T is locked in. And they just have done a really good job of I loved the logo. I'm fine. Like I'm ready for what's next. You see the CW and ESPN, everyone was honest. No ESPN connection. Now there is. And obviously there's certain things that I know that I can't say, but it's plan the work the plan. There's a lot of negativity and assumptions about some of the things, whether department or conference or industry. There is a lot going on behind the scenes, and not everything I can say publicly. I feel like I've signed 50 million NDAs, but at the end of the day, I try to be as transparent as possible. T has talked about the direct-to-consumer model, and that's something that will come in the future. And like we're locked and loaded, and whatever we do, which I also appreciate because it's how we run the department. If it works, great. Let's double down and figure out how we make it better. If it doesn't work, pivot. What's next? And so we've really embraced that we'll see. There's still a lot of balls in the air, and we're going to keep pushing forward.
Do you? I don't know if you've seen the advanced copy, or if you are waiting like everyone else, or if a game is moved to a Friday, you at least get a little heads up on that. But would you anticipate any non-Saturday games this year? I mean, there was one year when I got here where you guys had 6 of your 12 games on a Thursday or Friday, like in 2014 or something. It's kind of been 1 or 2 sprinkled in, but is that when it first came out, it was just Saturday? What kind of non-Saturday package is the Pac-12 going to have? And do you anticipate something getting moved?
Not as I sit here today, but it could, and I'm okay with it because before you're finding 12 days out, or, it's happening early in the season and all of a sudden a game gets moved from Saturday to Friday and we got to figure it out. which was fine. Like, that's just how the industry was. The fact is we're defining on the front end. So could it impact us? Yeah, it could impact other Pac-12 teammates, but I think we'll know more coming out. Like, all the drafts and the media stuff, it all happens in May, and so for every conference. And so as all conferences work through that, you're going to start seeing things slotted, and we'll have a better idea this month. But I'm not overly concerned about it. I do feel pretty confident I feel pretty confident all our home games will be on Saturday, but that could change. I don't want to overpromise and underdeliver, but I'm going to control what we can. And I know our media partners, they've been awesome. So I can't say enough about them and how they respond to us and communicate. And I was talking to someone from the CW last night. They had a reception here, and it was great. And just hearing their thought process and that ESPN deal, our goal is to get our games, obviously on linear. We had talked about that, and that's important, but the option to stream through ESPN and what that ultimately does for us. And as we continue to build on this brand, who we are today will be very different tomorrow. We're going to keep going.
Couple final things here for Jeremiah Dicki. Let him get back to the nicer, warmer weather there in Phoenix. We had Mike Murtaugh on the show yesterday talking about the student seating rearranging for basketball, and just getting the students more involved in terms of a leadership group there. And obviously with what you guys are doing at Section 12, I know it's a long way out. You got a football season to worry about, but it sounds like there's weekly or bi-weekly meetings, already happening on getting the X rocking again next season as well. We see Leon got another commit yesterday, putting rebuilding the team here with 4 new players and more to come maybe. But just what's going on behind the scenes for Extra Mile Arena? And now that you guys do have control of that, how has that sped up some of these conversations? And somebody asked in the chat about what upgrades are coming to the arena. I know at one point we saw some shiny new pictures of a whole brand new different side of one of the sides of the arena. What in terms of premium space or whatever else? And there's a lot to that question there, but just Extra Mile Arena and the atmosphere and the fan experience. What I know you guys are working on that.
First and foremost, I want to give a shout out to Leon and that staff. The portal, like, football is crazy, basketball is insane. And what those guys are doing, I'm really grateful for them. I mean, they are grinding. They are in the office every day during the week, because I go in with Cody and others, and it's like, it takes a team. And so I'm really proud of them. I also want to give a shout out to Lex. I'm so pumped for him. You can't ask for, once Bronco, always Bronco, and who he is and how he represents. He's earned that opportunity, and I'm really proud of him and grateful for him. And so wish him many blessings ahead. Man, Extra Mile, the transition's going awesome, BJ. I can't say enough about Lisa and Nate and our collective team. When you bring an established, organization into your own and have to do this transition, started last October, and we're off and running. We got people on the bus and in the right seats, and we continue to build that out and what that's going to look like from a sports and entertainment standpoint. But we want to do something very different from others in terms of one-offs. Like, this is now part of our RevGen plan. And so when you think about that and the number of events that we're driving in, whether it's Los Tiers a couple nights ago, comedy shows, concerts, what we're doing on the Blue, what we're doing in EMA, it takes the team and a lot of strategy and work goes into that. And so, that also dominoes into the experience we want to provide. If we're having a concert, how do we use Stickle or North End Zone to create premium options that people can come for dinner or drinks before, or whatever they want to do? And so there's going to be a lot more cross collaboration, and it gives us a lot more control in terms of what that looks like. And, and you mentioned Mike and that team and what they're doing and the corral. And we heard Bronco Nation, and believe me, I'm frustrated too, but that ultimately means it's on me, and I got to figure it out. And when I say I have an unbelievable team. And so that's something prior to the end of the season. We were in the season. It's like, all right, guys, this isn't working. What do we do? And our team went to work, and Murdaugh and all them, they're in Coots, and Cody, they're throwing everything at the wall, and let's see what sticks. Let's see what really drives some of that interest. And part of that is we need premium space. It ties into the reseating and what we're trying to do with lifetime tickets. None of it is for personal gain. Like I've said before, we want to make the best possible experience. I'm honestly tired of the golf crowd. This is a basketball game. It's 2 hours. stand up, cheer when it's you're in towards the end of the game and you're under 4 minutes. I expect everyone off their seats. And so how do we
you need them in the seats first to be able to get up off their seat.
Correct. In the seat. And I'm grateful. Look, Bronco Nation showed up and obviously winning matters and all those things. And, and there's always peaks and valleys in that. You can't guarantee that, but we're controlling what we can. And we're going to continue to create that experience and especially for our blue collar fans and our students, and it's going to domino into the other areas. What we're doing with 4 seats, and there'll be some cool things like we're looking at, and I'm not like, obviously a lot of this costs money, BJ. So it's chicken or the egg, but why we're going through this reseeding and what it's done for Lyle Smiths, which has been amazing, and how we're utilizing those funds, whether I'm investing back into rev share or I'm investing into the facility. We just got a new roof. No one sees that, but they would have felt it if that roof would have fallen in. And so really grateful for the work the EMA staff did. And we got the new roof this off season. There's still more work to be done. And when you think about the premium space inside Extra Mile, but also the overbuilds in Albertsons, we're not going to stop. I put it out on social, like we will get to 40,000, but I got to find the money, and that takes a team. And that's why I'm going downtown. I'm talking to donors. Our team is continuing to talk to donors. We just fundraise again, most in our history. Like we are doing as much as we possibly can. Bronco Nation is the reason, and there's more work to be done, but we are always in planning phases of what is possible. And I don't ever want to do what everyone else is doing. I take what they're doing and we want to make it better. How can we do that? And how do we create that experience? I give a shout out to Utah State and Grand Canyon. Like, their student sections are insane and it's awesome. And their ADs are awesome. I love them both. And they're doing a phenomenal job, but we got to get to that point because basketball matters. And if anything, hearing from fans that their disappointment, guess what? 5 years ago when I got here, no one cared. It seemed like whether we won or lost outside of Leon and that team. And so now that just shows you that we have raised the bar and there are expectations, and it's a blessing and a curse, because at the end of the day, if we're not competing at the level they expect us to compete, we're going to hear about it. But that also shows the progress we've made in terms of investing into basketball and making it a priority.
Well, spring ball in the books. We saw some seats going in, the club seats. That thing's starting to look real down there in the north end zone. So we'll have that opening this summer. And like you said, some of the events, and then Memphis home opener is going to be here before we know it. And then obviously in the basketball season after that. Jeremiah, appreciate your time. I know you got meetings and things. It was nice, really nice of you to still find 30 minutes to do this for us. And we appreciate it. The Wi-Fi worked great. So we appreciate you for finding time for us, and best of luck finishing everything up down there, and safe travels back. And we'll do it again next month.
Thank you, BJ. I appreciate it. Love you, Bronco Nation. Go Broncos. What's next?
Appreciate it. There he is, Jeremiah Dicki in Phoenix. Yes, you in the chat, Phoenix, for meetings there. Kind of funny. Folks were wondering if he was in a hotel room in Lexington, Kentucky, but he's at some college football meetings and conference meetings and things down there in Phoenix. So he was not in a hotel room in Lexington, Kentucky. But appreciate Jeremiah for popping on. Great stuff there. And yeah, he had a heart out, as they say, to get to a 10 o'clock meeting, I believe. So we appreciate him for jumping on. Hope I got to most of your questions. And yeah, good stuff from the athletic director there at Boise State. Appreciate him for popping on. We're in the Sun Cruiser studios today. Sun Cruiser, various flavors, options. Yes, new basketball player. Intriguing guy. Nathan Carroll wrote an article on him, which I was going to post after the show. I'll dive into this to look at some of the numbers, but wasn't a name we had heard of. Wasn't a name anybody had really speculated on. Not even sure if he visited, to be honest. I'm going to call him DB because I'm not sure how to pronounce his first name correctly, but last name is Butka, I believe, Butka. So I'm just going to call him DB for now. Campbell transfer, 13.9 points, 8.5 rebounds, and maybe the more intriguing one, 2.6 assists. A 6'9", 6'10" big man averaging 2.6 assists a game. Played for the Fighting Camels of Campbell last season. The versatility stands out. Certainly, I watched some highlights of a game where he had like 26 points, and he can do some different things. Very tough finisher there at the rim, but again, good passer, sets good screens. Shot over 50%, I think, from the field. So interesting guy. Still kind of trying to figure out exactly what kind of player he's going to be and how he fits, but he's a skilled big guy that can score around the basket, do some things, and he's an elite rebounder as well. Great passer, great rebounder, as BSU Bill says, kind of a typical European guy. And like I said, the verdict is still kind of out because he wasn't a guy that was on the radar. Didn't even know Boise State was interested in him, to be honest. And so, that's kind of what I'm getting at there. Was unfamiliar with his game and still trying to do some research and talk to some folks about him. I know there was another Australian player they were interested in potentially, but I believe with this new 5-and-5 rule, I think that dude was already like 23 years old. So that may have been tough to do with how many years he had been in college. I think guys are going to get grandfathered in if you're already in college. But if you're not in college, I don't think you are yet. And so that might have been one of the reasons they had to pivot. I don't know. But looks like a nice, when you talk about what they've added in the front court now with Stanback and Jacani, the JUCO kid. And now, here, with DB. And then obviously you have the starting point guard added too, and Damari Wheeler-Thomas. Now they've got one spot left, it sounds like, and they need to, get a quality shooting guard, two-guard quality shooter for that position. So if they can go out and make one more nice addition and get a shooter and, as BSU Bill says, an athletic shooting guard wing that can create his own shot, Wheeler-Thomas feels like the only guy on the roster that can take someone off the dribble. That would be something you would certainly like to see. Another guard, that they could add that could handle the ball, create his own shot, get to the rim, but they need some shooting too. So if they can get another solid addition there, I think it's going to be a team. And I know a lot of you guys are going to sleep on it, or folks are going to say it's not good enough. And on paper, not really sure what to expect, to be honest. Bringing a lot of new players together, asking a lot of returning players to make big improvements. I could see it going really well, or maybe it won't. I mean, there's different ways right now. We'll just have to kind of see what this team looks like over the summer and see what the schedule ends up looking like and go from there. But, certainly I don't think anyone's expecting Boise State to finish higher than Gonzaga in the conference right now. When you've got San Diego State and Utah State there, I mean, you're looking at, a tough uphill climb in this conference. So if they can get the right last addition here, I think it's one guy, maybe two, who knows. But if they can get the final piece here at the guard position on the wing, I think it could be a nice portal haul, even though it's maybe not the one star player that everybody was looking for, but it's 4 or 5 nice pieces here, I think, so far. So we'll obviously have to kind of see from, what it ends up looking like. But to this point, looks like a nice get, and we'll have to kind of wait and see what it all looks like when they put it all together. But still a spot left. We'll see where they go with that, and then, like I said, see what the roster looks like when they put it all together. Still waiting for the schedule. All we know so far is that they've got a return game from Butler. You're going to have Butler coming to Extra Mile Arena. That's going to be a nice game. Boise State is going to Wichita State to return the home and home for that. So Wichita State on the road, Butler at home are the two we know about. There's been some rumblings about a game with Oregon maybe over in Eugene. We're still waiting to find out what tournament they're going to be in. Remember, there's an extra game this year. So I think there's maybe even the possibility for 2 kind of multi-team events this year. I don't know all the details on all that, but certainly a lot of, still to come out over the next several months on the basketball schedule. Somebody asked about Lexus Williams a little bit earlier in the chat. Think it should have been someone else. Well, Lexus Williams left on his own. He got a promotion. Lexus Williams was a assistant coach, but he was basically that was by title, but he was getting paid, almost like a GA, so to speak, or whatever. A lot of these assistant coaches make, 6 figures. If I'm guessing, Lexus Williams made 40, 50 grand. I could be wrong, but when they added, you had 3 coaches and you could go to 5. You could add 2 more assistant coaches, but your main 3 are kind of your main 3 coaches that get the most money and do the most work. And then you have rules that allow guys to get on the court and be a coach and all that. But, you're not, the compensation isn't the same as some of those other schools. And so I think that Lexus Williams got a promotion to a higher spot on the depth chart, so to speak, or totem pole on the assistant coach rankings with Minnesota. He gets to go to the Big Ten, go to Nico Medved's staff, who was at Colorado State, former Mountain West guy, and obviously had a connection there. And it's a nice, rise in his career. I mean, David Moats, kind of similarly going to Virginia Tech, was at Boise State a long time. And if he didn't leave at some point, he wasn't going to find his way up the depth chart or totem pole. at some point if he didn't go somewhere else to kind of expand his tree. And he got a nice promotion at Virginia Tech. And now another young member of the coaching staff, Lexus Williams, gets a promotion. And shout out to Lexus Williams. Congrats to him. Great dude. Awesome. If you guys have ever done interviews with him or talked to him, Lexus Williams he's a rising star in this profession. I think he even won some award for rising coaches 30 under 30 or something. So he's got a bright future ahead of him. Good recruiter. And I think he was heavily involved in Damari Wheeler-Thomas's recruitment. I think that Lexus Williams has a bright future and great dude. Happy for him, but stinks to have him lose because him and David Moats were two just great guys that you enjoyed seeing on the road and seeing at practice and seeing before the games. And so we'll see what happens with that spot. Someone suggesting Kobe Carl could certainly see that, but if he's already on the staff, so to speak, I don't know, does anything really change if he just has a different title? I don't know. But maybe he'd be allowed to actually coach on the floor and things if he's promoted to an actual assistant coach. Who knows how that would all change. So we'll shake that out. I know right now, I was even trying to get my kids in the summer basketball camp, and I was trying to find dates of the summer basketball camp to sign up my kids. And I was told we got to get the portal over with first. We'll worry about that afterwards. So they're focused on the portal. They're focused on this roster, and then they'll worry about titles and promotions and schedule and basketball camps and everything else. They are locked in on this roster right now and finishing that. So elevation for Lexus should have been on the Broncos. I mean, you can make a case for that. Sure. But he did, he got promoted. He was a, GA lower level guy, got promoted to full-time assistant coach. And he's got to just continue to work his way up like a David Moats did. And sometimes guys need to go spread their wings somewhere else and learn different things and then, come back or whatever else can happen. So I don't think there's anything to read too much into that. It's just a good opportunity for him, more money, chance to go to a new conference. He's from Chicago area, so he's a little closer to home. He's a Big Ten guy, so to speak, kind of, growing up in Chicago and stuff. So congrats to Lexus. See what they do with that spot here moving forward, but I wouldn't expect anything to be super quick just because they have so much going on with trying to finalize this roster and things. So Boise State has not announced the new addition, by the way. That could be today or tomorrow. They're still finishing up some paperwork and things like that. So hopefully we'll know more about him once it's announced by the school, and then we can get the coaches to start talking about him and stuff. We'll try to get Coach Burns maybe on the show here in the next few days to talk about him. And he's kind of the guy that does a lot of the international recruiting and things like that. So was at Pepperdine, then went to Campbell, and intriguing guy. We'll see what he brings to the table. But appreciate you guys for watching. Sun Cruiser Studios. Make sure you get that blueberry lemonade, all the various flavors from Sun Cruiser. Again, whether it's the iced tea vodkas, the lemonade vodkas, so many options from Sun Cruiser, and we appreciate their support of Bronco Nation News. And, of course, our title sponsor, Lithia Ford of Boise. There would be no Bronco Nation News without all of our great sponsors. Please support all of them, but start to the top with Lithia Ford of Boise, our title sponsor, LithiaFordBoise.com. Whether it's a new pre-owned vehicle, if you're thinking about a new vehicle, you can go to their website, LithiaFordBoise.com, view their full inventory, the prices, do all your research ahead of time, pick 2 or 3 you want to test drive, go in, test drive those. You've already done the research, and you're on your way in a couple hours. Great deals coming up this weekend as well. Some good specials going on. So Lithia Ford of Boise, they're supporting Boise State as big as anybody. Return the favor, folks, for that next car or truck purchase at Lithia Ford of Boise. Ethan says, sup, Ethan. Appreciate you all for watching the show today. That'll do it. Hour and 13 minutes. Thanks to John Mallory. Thanks to Jeremiah Dicki. Thanks to all of you guys. We'll have Mike Prater tomorrow for a Friday edition of Bronco Nation News Live. Friday at 9 a.m. with Mike Prater. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. We'll have that story on the commitment of DB. Nathan Carroll watched some of his game tape, looked at the stats, put a scouting report together. What is Boise State getting in their newest edition? We'll have that posted for subscribers here in about 10 minutes. You can subscribe, by the way, 50% off right now. If you're on the fence, but you want the recruiting coverage, you want Nathan's analysis, Prater's columns, my beat writing coverage, you need to subscribe right now, folks. Our spring special, 50% off at BroncoNationNews.com. It's like $5-6 a month. Jump in now. You get a full year of coverage. That means all the way through next football and basketball season, next recruiting season, next portal season, a full year of coverage. Now's the time before we get into the summer here. Subscribe at BroncoNationNews.com. Support our efforts. The only local media outlet not affiliated with Boise State that travels on the road to both the football and basketball games. Not a single outlet. You have KTIK, Bob, Abe doing the games on the radio. So Bob's there for KTIK, but independent outlets, as I call them, not associated with Boise State or Learfield. We're the only one that travels on the road with the basketball team. We're at every football game. So media days, you want comprehensive coverage, both in podcast form like this, written form on the website. Help us out, folks, by supporting our sponsors and by subscribing at BroncoNationNews.com. Great 50% off special right now. And we have message boards on there where you can chat with folks and keep the discussion going in the message board. So the VIP board is for the paid subscribers. Then we have free boards for football and basketball for those of you unable to afford. But go on there, keep the discussion going. We'll all be in the chat, all the employees of BNN answering questions if you have them or whatever else. So jump on in there and discuss. And we appreciate all of you that already are subscribers. But if you can find a couple bucks, we'd love to have you join us and subscribe. And I think if you ask another paid subscriber, you'll find out it's well worth your $50, $60 for the year to get the coverage that you're getting at BroncoNationNews.com. So have a great rest of your day. Again, if you are a paid subscriber, in the next 5-10 minutes, you'll be able to read Nathan's analysis piece on the newest basketball player, and then more coverage coming throughout the day. Chris is working on a recruiting article. And then, as I said, tomorrow at 9 a.m., we'll have Mike Prater as well. But we're kind of in that season where anything can happen at any time, football-related, schedule-wise, basketball-related, player-wise, schedule-wise, coaching, like you name it. We're just kind of waiting around. And so I've got the laptop with me pretty much throughout the day. And when news breaks, we're ready to have it for you at BroncoNationNews.com. So thank you, guys. Go subscribe. Go support the sponsors. Give us a like and a subscription here on YouTube on the way out the door. And have a great rest of your Thursday. We'll see you at 9 a.m. tomorrow with Mike Prater. We'll see you online as well. Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com. Take care, everybody.